Welcome to the Varside Pubcast, coming all the way from the Varside Arms. With us tonight is Sarah. How are you doing, Sarah?
Yeah, I'm all right. Thank you, Andy.
Good. What have you been up to? Because you were in Amsterdam, weren't you?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago for work.
Oh, okay.
It's the first time I've left the country, and I don't know how much for somebody who's normally in and out the country a couple of times a month for work. It was a bit overwhelming, actually. I didn't quite enjoy it. I nearly came home. I nearly landed and then got back on the plane and came home.
Was that all to do with tulips?
No, that's March trip. That's a March trip, but it was to do with houseplants. So I went and had a look at all the stuff that Holland has to offer.
I bet you did. Yeah.
Like
you weren't protesting then? You weren't on the protest?
No.
You just missed out, did you?
Just missed out. I mean, I might have stayed a bit longer if I'd known.
Let's face it, you were on a wacky-backy transit, weren't you?
There's none of that on my expenses.
Yeah, sure. We just bought it personally, did you?
No comment.
Anyway, we're also joined by Simon. How you doing, mate?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yes.
Excellent.
Good.
Excellent.
And Steve, how are you, mate? You're on mute.
Yeah, I'm on mute. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, thanks. Yes.
Yeah.
Feels like ages since I've been on the podcast. So.
Well, it's certainly been a while since I've been on the podcast with you, and I've been thinking that you've been doing this on purpose.
We're trying to avoid you.
Yeah.
Well, not specifically.
The answer is yes. And that's all right. That's fair enough. I can live with that. Lee, how you doing, mate?
I'm sure you'll survive.
How you doing? Yeah, all right, Steve. That's enough. All right, how you doing, Lee?
Yeah, good. Just a bit tired today after being forced to drink about 5 pints of beer pre-game.
Bloody lovely.
Yeah, I know. It's an absolute toss pot.
Yeah.
And then, of course, going through the range of emotions first and second half, I was, giving the lungs a good workout.
Well, yeah, that's very true. And I think it was one of those days, wasn't it, to have a bit of a workout.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, let's just jump into the women's game, the West Ham game. Away, we lost 1-0. Did anybody watch that?
No, but I'm surprised you're going to. I know, obviously, we want to cover that, but we don't really. But
it's always bad news before good news, Steve. Always.
Okay, so I hope we're going to. Does that mean we're going to reflect back on the 11-0 win that they had on the Wednesday?
Could do. Actually, yeah, we probably should. Yeah.
I mean, either way, I didn't watch either game, but but it was. It's a fantastic result for them on the Wednesday, and then we had to follow it up with bloody losing to West Ham.
Yeah, that's a net 10-0. That's not bad.
Yeah, but West Ham were trolling us on trolling our account on Twitter, like the West Ham women, because like Rhiannon Skinner had, she did a pre-match interview and said, we need to be patient, disciplined, and press or something like that. So, having won the game, West Ham said that they'd done all of those things. They were disciplined, patient, and pressed, or some bollocks, which got all the West Ham fans in a state of delirium. So.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to set them off. I mean, they like bubble machines, don't they? For fuck's sake! I mean, what's going on there? But yeah, I mean,
we all like bubble machines, don't we?
Well, yeah, but you wouldn't admit it, would you? But but no, I thought it was a shame we lost yesterday because we were doing so well. But I did watch the highlights, and it looked like quite a close game actually. It was quite hard fought. They looked pretty tired. Both teams looked really tired at the end, and I think it was just tiredness that probably lost us the game. But did you see it, Sarah?
The ladies' game, no, I didn't get to see it this weekend.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Sadly, because they seem to be playing well.
Yeah, I mean the quality of football seems really good. and I need to watch them more really. Make a bit
I think
more
the
of an
fact
effort.
that I'd be willing to have watched them if I was in is a sign of the improvement, which might sound negative, but I mean, I think
No,
the
I
standard
think
has come on that much that
I think
actually tuning in, you're going to get a good game of football regardless of the result. And
it's it feeds itself, doesn't it? Really.
yeah, indeed.
Yeah. So let's move on to the Leeds game. What did we think about the lineup? Because obviously we didn't have Romero and we didn't have Skip in the side, so that was a bit concerning. So we obviously brought Winky in and Tanguy, not Tanguy, but Tanguy. And what did you think, Steve, about the lineup?
Why do you always come to me when I'm on mute? I assumed that you would have gone to Lee or something first because he hadn't spoken for a little while, and I thought you'd give him an opportunity to express
Because I'm
himself.
working from the bottom to the top. You're at the bottom.
All right, okay. Well, not
I'm
not
just
on my screen. I'm
working
not.
my
You
way
see,
up.
but anyway, yeah. No, I think it looks like he wanted to just basically make as few changes as possible. He kind of, by mentioning Winky in the press conference, you kind of knew that he was going to step in.
Yep.
I guess from from his perspective, Tanganga was an option. I don't, so from a selection, a starting 11 perspective, I wasn't entirely surprised. Although, I still don't feel that this double pivot of Skip and Højbjerg or Højbjerg and Winky gives us enough creativity, really, as a platform to play and to build. But it seems to be the way he wants to develop the game. So and we'll hopefully we'll touch on this in a little bit. But the way the game built, you could see actually that we didn't really use Højbjerg and Winks as the creativity within the team anyway. So yeah, not unsurprised by the starting lineup.
No, I mean at Inter he has we had Brozovic, I think, as the deep line midfielder, and then he had two ahead. So it is interesting that he's playing a double pivot. So I don't know tactical reasons for that or any reasons for that, but it is quite interesting.
Did he at Inter? Did he only have Lukaku up top though?
No, I mean, he had Lautaro with Lukaku.
Okay, so it's interesting then, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
That he's Who knows? Who knows? Well, he knows, but I don't.
So Simon, what did you think of the lineup that we, the actual layout that we went with Tanganga, Dyer, and Davis at the back? Did you expect that? Did you expect Tanganga to come in? You're on mute, Simon.
I don't think I wasn't sure if I expected it. I was quite happy to see him. I think we've got to, I think I've said before, we've got to start using newer players in the lineup and got to start, getting them used to being there more permanently. So same with, Royale, Tanganga, whoever, need to start using them more frequently so they can settle into the side. And if that's the formation that he wants to go with, because he believes that that's what will work for him, and using, wings in a more fluid way, then you have to inverted commas trust the process. But I think, I was happy. I know some people who don't, they may not rate Tanganga as much, but I was happy to see him. I think he is a decent player, and I think he can only get better if you play him in the squad.
Yeah, I agree. It was interesting that he didn't bring Rodon in. He hasn't played Rodon in the games recently. Well, not starting with him anyway. And I did think that maybe Rodon would come in, but maybe he thinks Davies is a better bet.
I think that he possibly sees Rodon as a dire replacement. So, like,
Okay.
I think Davies is because being. I mean, I think we discussed this before, but with being left-footed, I think Davies provides that natural kind of balance on the left-hand side, and gives us the ability to kind of play out left. And Davies got higher up the pitch on Sunday than you're used to seeing him. So we kind of had centre backs that started to overlap or get travel with the ball or whatever. So it gives us that balance, being a left-sided player that does that. So I think that Rodon would probably be the if Dyer was unavailable potentially, then he might come in and play the Dyer role rather than potentially sitting alongside Dyer. I think it's either or, maybe in Conte's opinion. I don't know, but because I can't understand again why he doesn't seem to have a chance or not figuring, because he's done really well for Wales. So you'd think that he would just step in, but there you go.
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, the thing is, Lee, Rodon has kind of not been in favour with most of the managers that we've had over the last year or so. He's not figured really, has he?
No. I just wonder what Rodon's done. Has he killed Levy's dog or something like that? I have no idea, but he just seems to be persona non grata, doesn't he? That no one seems to be using him at all, even though, we've kind of touched upon, he seems to be doing well for Wales. But we don't seem to really be keen on him too much. I don't know what that is, whether it's something to do with the team dynamic or whether they don't think he's quite ready yet. Because you would think actually that system probably would be okay for him to step in, seeing as we're missing Romero. But exactly. I mean, there was a few surprises for me actually in that game, because you think about it, over that international break, a number of those players have been training for the last couple of weeks with Conte, but yet, quite tellingly, Ndombele and Delhi didn't really get a sniff.
No, they didn't.
So
I mean, obviously,
what does that say?
Yeah,
he went with an unchanged. He kind of went with an unchanged lineup, apart from where he had to make changes. Because I think, like I said at the beginning, he clearly sees the players that started as his starting 11 based on the formation that he wants to play, and he only made changes where necessary, but without changing the structure or the dynamic. So if he brought in on Dembele alongside Højbjerg, then that's a different dynamic or a different style of play. You're asking Dembele to play a different role potentially to what we would expect him to play. We would expect him to be this advanced player, creative player driving with the ball or whatever it is.
Some of the changes were obviously, enforced because we didn't have Skip. So I thought that's probably an opportunity to play someone like Delhi or someone like Ndombele in that position to give us a bit more creativity, which we've lacked. And Lo Celso wasn't there either, so because he's got a knock. So I was quite surprised at that midfield, because looking at that team as a whole on that day, the defense looked by and large okay, and up front, when Moura got on the ball and Son got on the ball, they were quick, pretty zippy, and things could have happened. But it just really, that midfield was absolutely woeful. And particularly obviously in the first half. Yeah. I mean, Winky probably went in at half time and got a spanky because he did come out a lot better second half. And so did Højbjerg. I thought Højbjerg was awful, and I know I've had been in a bit of a critic of his. It was much better second half, but I really could not see what he was doing in the first half. It was just, that was for me where it all sort of crumbled. It really, we couldn't get a grip of anything in that midfield, and if Nuno was in charge, the booze would have started.